was hoping that it would be a bit lighter. The camera shows it so dark. It's not near as dark as the camera shows. So, I want to describe exactly what it's like for me with this breathing and sleep apnea, and I feel like I'm being gaslighted to a big degree. I don't know exactly what's going on here. Let me just shut this TV off. It's distracting me. Well, I'm terrified to go to bed. I'm terrified. I've been afraid to go to sleep for, 15 years ago is when I really started turning up the volume, turning up the heat, really, really pushing hard to get help. But I'm counting on my fingers, 35 years ago, I started pushing for help. 45 years ago, I think it started to be a problem. But I like inability to sleep and undiagnosed sleep apnea, but I didn't know what sleep apnea was. And for the last 15 years ago, I started telling, really saying to my doctors, when I get into bed, my body doesn't want to breathe anymore. See, I have Chiari malformation and I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And they knew in 2009 that I had Chiari. They knew, and then shortly after that, they assessed me without telling me what they were checking for. They assessed me for Ehlers-Danlos, and they knew that I had it, but these doctors did not tell me about. They didn't tell me. They told me, well, you have this brain thing, but it's nothing. Basically, forget about it. That's what they literally said. Forget about it. And the EDS, they didn't tell me anything. With the Chiari, I literally did go home and, when doctors tell you, oh, it's nothing, forget about it. They did a brain MRI. They said, forget about it. It's nothing. And I didn't know anything, and I really did forget about it. But the sleep issues persisted. The undiagnosed sleep apnea persisted. The sleepwalking persisted. Sleep eating persisted. And I'm telling them when I get into bed, my body doesn't want to breathe anymore. That persisted. And everything got worse. Slowly got worse. And as things got worse, they gave me more and more sleep medications, sleeping pills, multiple sleeping pills, and multiples of each prescribed together, right? And here's the thing. I'm sitting here watching a movie right now. I'm so tired, I could literally collapse. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to try closing my eyes and see if I can doze off for a few minutes. So as I'm relaxing, as I'm closing my eyes, you kind of mentally tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna fall asleep for a few minutes. And even as I'm saying it now, because I'm so because I'm so tired and relaxed, I feel like I'm collapsing in my throat, my trachea, my diaphragm or lungs. And the more I relax, the more I'm and it's not psychological. The more I relax, the more I'm collapsing because I'm getting closer to sleep. And it's hard to breathe. The more I relax, it's hard to breathe. And as I get closer to sleep, my throat is collapsing. And part of me thinks it's autonomic nervous system damage or dysfunction, and it probably is to a degree, not a large degree, but to a degree, because when this was bad enough, I was stopping breathing during the day. I was out here in this chair. I slept in this chair for a couple of years, but during the daytime, my throat was closing, my diaphragm was stopping. And I said to a couple of these doctors, they're trying to brush me off. I fought to get CPAP. I've had CPAP for a few years now, and I'm telling them it's not sleep apnea when your throat is closing awake. And they're trying to tell me, they're trying to get rid of me, and they're saying, well, it's just sleep apnea. It's not sleep apnea when you're struggling to breathe during the day and you feel like things are collapsing and your throat is closing. It's not. It's not sleep apnea when your throat is closing during the day. So is that gaslighting? Or is it, I'm not the specialist for you, I don't know what to do with you, or damn, you're in trouble, lady, and you need far beyond what I can do for you? I'm talking about a respirologist telling me it's sleep apnea. And they say, well, and I say, it's not sleep apnea when you're collapsing, when your throat is collapsing, when your airway is collapsing during the day. That's not sleep apnea. You can't tell somebody it's sleep apnea when their throat is collapsing during the day when they're relaxed. So what is that? There's a fear and a desperation in this. I don't know if that comes through, but I decided before I turned this video on that, well, okay, I'm just gonna close my eyes and fall asleep here. There's no way. My throat is collapsing. And the thing is, when I get so sleep deprived, this issue gets worse. And it gets to the point where My throat is collapsing awake, making it unable, making me unable to fall asleep. Like right now, I am beyond, like, I have been at this point a few times before, to the point where I've gone to the ER. And here's the thing. Here's what they think in their minds. These all these doctors. You know, here's what the general public doesn't know. There's a lot of doctors who don't even understand what CPAP, what sleep apnea really is, and what CPAP actually does. And here's a thing that they're trained to do, and I totally disagree with this, but maybe it's okay for strong, healthy people. They're trained to think and believe that they can prescribe you whatever they want for sleep, prescribe you sleeping pills, and if you're on CPAP, they think that's all right. Well, that's all right if you're a big, strong, healthy man and you're sleeping like a log, and this CPAP is keeping your airway open all night long. That's fine if you're strong and healthy as a horse. But if you're so ill and you're saying my throat is closing awake, preventing me from falling asleep, you can't give someone sleeping pills. I'm in such a state of exhaustion that I feel like I am collapsing along along my airway, different places, like, and my throat. So here's the thing. Here's what the doctors don't understand. And if you think this through, like as far as anatomy and medically, and what sleep apnea is and what CPAP does. CPAP is for sleeping people. CPAP is not, you know, you need to be able to fall asleep for CPAP to be keeping your airway open. And see, this happens. This is what happens to me when this is bad enough. I can put the CPAP on, but I'm unable to fall asleep because my airway's closing, my throat's closing. If I can manage to fall asleep, then CPAP can work and do its thing. And even when I'm wearing the CPAP, I'm shoving my throat, I'm pushing up here to try to tighten up and try to I'm trying to keep my airway open during the night, even with CPAP. So are they trying to tell me this is too complex for them? Or what is happening here? Because I wish I would have had a trach 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I would probably be sleeping. I can't live like this. And I'll make another video because I can only post 15-minute videos.